When was the last time you felt like your business was truly running itself? Not because you disappeared for a week and went to Hawaii and hoped for the best while you were gone, but because the systems you put in place actually worked without you hovering, without you micromanaging, without you being the bottleneck. Here's what I've noticed. Most of us think we need bigger clients, better marketing, or more hours in the day. Well, we do need all of that. But what we actually need? Better systems. And I'm not talking about software, although I have some episodes on that, which we'll link in the show notes. I'm talking about the way you design your business to operate, the structures that either create ease or create chaos. Because here's the truth. You can have the best offers, the best intentions, and the best work ethic in the world. But if your business doesn't have systems that support how you actually want to live, you're not building a business. You're building a job that owns you. And the irony? Most of us resist systems because we think they'll box us in. We think structure means rigidity, that processes kill creativity, that automation makes things feel impersonal. But I'm going to argue the opposite is true. The right systems don't trap you. They actually free you. They create space for the work that matters. They protect your energy. They allow your business to scale without you having to hustle harder. And today, I'm talking to someone who lives and breathes this philosophy. Someone who's built her entire mission around helping entrepreneurs, specifically interior designers, design businesses that are as profitable as they are sustainable. LuAnn Nigara is an entrepreneur, podcast host, and keynote speaker who spent years in the trenches with creative business owners. She's a partner in WindowWorks, a custom window treatment company, and co-founded Exciting Windows, a membership group for window treatment pros. But where LuAnn really lights up? Teaching entrepreneurs how to think bigger, price with confidence, and design systems that create freedom instead of chaos. She's the host of A Well-Designed Business, one of the top podcasts in the interior design world with over 8 million downloads. And her newest show, Window Treatments for Profit, dives deep into the business side of the industry. LuAnn also writes monthly for AD Pro and Window Fashion Vision magazine. She serves on the board of the Window Coverings Association of America and runs her own coaching and education company where she helps entrepreneurs grow their confidence, their skills, and their profits without burning out. She is all about sustainable growth, smart systems, and building businesses that don't require you to be everything, everywhere, all the time. I've been on her podcast twice, talking about worth, thinking bigger, and about what it really takes to grow. She moderated a panel I was on and sponsored at High Point Fall Market in 2025. And I've also had the opportunity to be a guest expert at her Power Talk Friday events twice. But today, we're flipping the mic. Because if you've ever felt like your business is running you instead of the other way around, if you've ever wondered how to build something that doesn't drain you, or if you've ever thought, there has to be a lighter and easier way to do this, this conversation is for you. I'm Andrea Libros, and welcome back to She Thinks Big. All right, so should we just get into it? What do you think?
I'm just going to follow your lead. You know what I mean? When you tell me it's
All
done,
right,
I'll be like,
yes.
okay, I guess I'll shut up now.
It's done. All right, how do we know each other?
Did you?
I applied to be
I was
on
going
your
to say, I
podcast
think you
way back
just
in the day.
applied and we hit it off. But did you find me, or you had hired an interview like a podcasting company?
No, I at that point I had never hired a podcast company. I found you because I started to have more clients in the interior design space. And I thought to myself,
Who has more of those
who's
people?
out there? Who are they listening to? I mean, maybe even my clients told me to go
Yeah,
listen.
yeah,
So that's probably what I did. And I remember your application, I had to include statistics or data or something like
yeah,
that at
yeah,
that point. This is like, I bet it was in
yeah,
2021.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Then I was on a second time after I published my book.
yeah.
And then we met in Dallas at Power Talk
Yep,
Friday in Dallas. And that was
yep.
maybe in 2024.
4. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
And then we just got to see each other again.
Yeah, yeah, couple times, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So, audience, we were at the High Point Market in October 2025 together. And I, again, had the privilege of being an expert at Power Talk Friday there. And then we did a panel together. LuAnn was
yeah,
the
yeah,
moderator. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So High Point Market is like Disneyland for interior designers. Roughly anywhere from 80 to 100 and 110,000 designers from across the globe will descend for a week in the fall and the week in the spring at High Point, North Carolina, which is basically the furniture capital of the U.S. And there are basically 1 week of visiting showrooms, sit testing product, learning about new product, and people like myself and Andrea put on educational panels, discussions, presentations for the interior designer to get tactical knowledge about their craft as far as how to run their business and trends and things that are happening while they're also learning about the resources and the different furniture lines and the different brands and the price points. And it's like Disneyland for designers. I mean, so many of them have been coming for years, staying in the same Airbnbs with the same designer buddies. The city rolls out the red carpet. There's go rides all over for free. There's shuttles to and from airports for free. There's shuttles back and forth every day to hotels from 20, 30, 40 minutes away for free. Everything is geared towards making it great experience so that people want to come. It's a very really cool thing. There's other markets. There's Las Vegas market that happens twice a year. There's Dallas market is happening this week. Atlanta's market happens, but High Point is the biggie. It's not a regional market.
That was the first time I had been to it. And it was, Disneyland is a great
Isn't it?
analogy, a great analogy. And I couldn't believe too, the, how they made everything so accessible.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they go out of their way to try to
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
all very
Food at
easy for
every
anyone
stop,
that's attending.
champagne, drinks, cocktails.
Yes.
The thing about it is, what's funny is, Andrea, it's changed even in the last 10 years that I've been going, and the change started probably about 15 years ago. And I'm not the authority on that, but I do know if you go back 25, 30 years, literally it was buyers for like Hoffman Cooves, Safavia, like it was a very male dominated um buyers market. I'm coming in and I'm going to buy millions of dollars worth of furniture, 10 million on inventory for bedding and dining rooms and stuff. And over the last 10 to 15 years, it that all still happens. We don't see it though. What we just see is all the designers running around. We're on the street. Hi, how are you? Come to my panel. You know what I mean? And now they've got the bands. Did you go to the band on Sunday night? I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yes.
it's crazy the entertainment they have there. So it's really in the last 10 to 15 years skewed to include the segment of the decor industry, which is the interior designer, which even if a designer is doing 5 million a year, is considered a small business for that market, because until that point, they were accustomed people walking in and spending millions on purchase orders. You know what I mean? So making a space for a designer who isn't even going to be able to do opening minimums of $20,000, of $50,000, which a lot of the companies have, but will then go and order on through design trade services or something else. But they get to see it, feel, and touch it and learn the product before they go and order it online through a third party because they don't have enough buying power to order direct.
Yes. That was what I was noticing that too. It was a lot of sort of pre-shopping, pre pre-decision making, not actually deciding right then and there, but
Right. It's like fact
Fact
gathering.
gathering, yes. Let's get the info now and then go home and make the
Yeah.
decision
It's
later.
like Christmas shopping in September. You're not really buying anything yet. You're just like walking around going, what would Susie like? What would Billy like? What would Sally like? Maybe I have to remember this for that one. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's what they do.
So it was fun because LuAnn and I were there not to do that necessarily,
No.
but to help educate um, the the attendees, and that's a
Yeah.
whole other portion or part
Right.
of this market.
Oh, there's just educational programming that's happening from 9 in the morning till 6 o'clock, 6 at night every day. It's crazy.
Constantly, like for what, 4 straight day, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you pretty much the programming goes Friday to Tuesday-ish, some things on Wednesday, but the core of it is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but there are the bank days of Friday and Tuesday.
all right. So tell my listeners, what are you doing, LuAnn? You have so many things going on. If someone said, write my bio. I mean, I could write I could figure it out, but how would you describe what you do?
I teach interior designers and window treatment professionals how to be profitable. And that happens
As
in
simple as that.
multiple ways, but that's the core of what I do every day. It's like, let's figure out how the thing that you have a passion for, you make money, fulfill your dreams, make a lifestyle for yourself, sit at the end of that journey and think to yourself, I did a good job. I did what I wanted to do, whether that was I wanted to build a team of 20 or I wanted to stay solo, but I wanted to bring an income into my family, my family. It's but at the core of it is I help you make money. That's period, end of discussion. But then I could do it through books and podcasting and speaking and Power Talk Friday and LuAnn University and Bitwarden for Creatives in 1,000 different ways. But that's what I get up in the morning. I'm like, how are we going to teach them to make money today? You know?
All right, so what makes you qualified to teach someone how to do that? Tell us a little bit about like the
Okay.
backstory.
So Vin and I started Window Works in 1982. Okay. Um, Vinny, it was his third business. He's 15 years older than me. He's got a degree in accounting and a master's in business. And so he comes into it fully formed, right? Like, I know how to make money, I know how to run a business, all the things. Me, I'm a salesperson. I've been studying sales since I'm 10 years old. I'm not exaggerating, been reading books on sales and how to do it and all the things. It's like, it's what I like to do. I was always interested in it all through my young years. It was just the thing that lit me up. So when I come into Window Works with Vinny and we do this, I am released in the sales lane. Vinny manages the business. He does all decisions. I just sell. I drive sales, and that's that. And what I know is over the course of doing business with him side by side, there was a point probably between 5 and 10 years where I started to pay attention to how he was running the business and the reasons for decisions. Before then, I was a passenger. I wasn't, when I say I was a passenger, I had real responsibility and quotas, and it wasn't easy because my husband is a son of a gun and he's very driven. Okay. But that was all I had to worry about it. To a designer, as I love selling the way a designer loves creating beauty in a room. So to a designer, the analogy is I get up every day and I just design. And it's like somehow magic behind the curtain, the payroll gets done, the bills get paid, all of that stuff. But when I started to pay attention and maybe I started to want things in the business and I thought we should do a thing and he'd be like, no. And I'd be like, why? And then he would explain it to me like, oh, there's a chess game happening here. I wasn't aware of that. I thought we just sell stuff and keep it rolling. And so I'm very much like many of the interior designers that I've met over the years where it's very typical for most businesses for the owner to be the operator, and to them it's the premise of the E-Myth book. When I read that book, I was like, "Oh my god, that's us." Right? It's like you're very good at your craft, and because you're good at it, you create sales and you create revenue and you quote unquote create a business. But until you pay attention to operations and you pay attention to finance and you pay attention to marketing, you're not really running a business. You're doing what you do, and maybe you're really good at it, so it looks like it's happening. But that was when I started to realize, when I came to do the podcast, I was like, designers, I was like them. Like, if I didn't have Vinny next to me, if I wasn't next to Vinny, around 5 to 7 years, I would have been like, "What the actual? Why is this so hard?
Yeah.
Why do I make every sale? Why do I make good profit, but I don't understand what's happening with the money, or I don't understand why I can't buy a building yet, or I don't know," because I wasn't in tune to that. So I had a huge leg up by being able to do my passion, to have it be rewarded because we brought in sales. But then the safety net of learning it, watching and doing and not making a decision and making a mistake and then costing us our business. And so then I couple that. For me, it's that particular compassion that I understand that the business side isn't always the first thing we think of, but you can't do it for any length of period of time if you don't lock that down. And it's not easy when it's not your inclination. It's not easy when you're creative. It's not easy when you're right brain. But you can do hard things like we tell the kindergartners. You can.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that's such a good observation. I see this with my clients too. Yes, they're passionate about what they're doing, but that only lasts so long, so to speak, right? Or your business cannot survive based on passion
Right.
alone. Or honestly, a skill set that is just in your
Right.
lane. Like you can stay in your lane if you want to, but then you've got to have these supporting pieces, or you've got to stay in your lane and learn the supporting pieces so that then you can figure out who's going to do them,
Exactly.
right? I mean, it's kind of one or the
Exactly.
other. So okay, so you and I have a shared love, I'll call it, for systems. So making this all happen, I guess, is a good way to think about it. You can't just reinvent the wheel every
Right.
morning. What's the difference really then between hustling and having systems that actually work for you?
Hustling, to your point, Andrea, is reinventing the wheel every day. It's like, okay, I've got grit, I've got stamina, I've got smarts, I've got brains, I've got ability. I'm just going to dig it out every day. And a system is, I've got all that, but I'm going to spend the time to build it so that every day I can do a percentage less because the system is relying. I mean, it's so funny because over the break, I spent 8 hours one day, literally head down, creating a highly evolved, highly detailed special GPT.
Yes, you could have been there for
Right,
18
right.
hours too,
But it
right?
took me 8 hours to do. And I just piece by piece built it. It was like, and whatever. The point is, and Vinny, 2 or 3 times during the day, is like, "What the heck are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm building a GPT." And he's like, "How in the world is that worth your 8 hours?" I'm like, "Do you understand? This 8 hours I spend will exponentially save me trillions of hours in the next year because now it's all there." And I'm going to tell you, it's it's the same with any system in your business. It's hard to do it. It doesn't feel necessarily intuitive. You put it off because you can manage your business and run it without doing it, and it's hard to stop time to do it. And not every system takes you 8 hours to build, for crying out loud.
No.
But and sometimes you pay somebody to build it. Just, we've done dozens of people in our industry that will do a done for you system. You pour it all out into their brain and then they come back to you with the system. I don't care how you get it, but hustle for the sake of hustle. Look, you got all your systems in place, you add a little hustle to it. That's a successful recipe. But hustle without a system, hustle for the sake of hustle, that's just chaos.
Ooh, that's interesting. If you have the systems and you add a little hustle,
Now look
good. If
out.
you got hustle and no systems, not so good.
That's it.
Not so good. So, what are the systems in your businesses that you feel are just essential? Like, where have you seen what's something that you've put into place that you've seen a huge difference from? Have you started using this
Oh, yeah.
GPT that you
Oh
built
my
too?
God. It's the output is so much different. I've been, it's funny because I got some notification from GPT. I don't know how I got it, but that I started in January of 2022. And I think it came out like in November or December of 21. I had no idea it was brand new. I am an early adopter though. See new thing and I'm like, hey, let's try that. How can we make that work? Right. But what I found out in the last 4 months, so by October of 25, I was like, oh my God. It's like I was riding a bike sideways instead of straight. I was like, I found out the way I was using it, I thought was good. I felt like it was getting better and better. I felt like my outputs were good, but I still had so much zhuzhing to do on everything. And then I became of whatever came across my thing. And I think one day I just sat down and I was like, this is how I use you. Is this how I'm supposed to use you? And it was like, well, not really. And I was like, whoa. And so that's when I started to go back and rebuild my GPTs. And the point of it is that every system in our business is always going to be tweaked. It's always. And so,
Yes.
yeah,
Why do people think that they're never gonna change and they have to get it all right the first time? I
no,
mean, no.
no, no, no.
No.
It's, yeah. So every area of my business, all of the businesses are systemized. There's no question. There's a system for every part. Now, does every system, what I say, hey, that's an A plus system and it's fail safe? No, they're living, breathing businesses. All three of the businesses are living, breathing businesses. And as people are added and new initiatives come on, but it's the always taking the time to reassess and to, like, it's a normal thing, especially at WindowWorks. WindowWorks is a big business. I don't own it any longer. We sold it to my son-in-law and my daughter 3 years ago, but I'm still there in some capacity, certain roles over there. And in that business, 17, 18 employees, 5 million, almost 5 million in revenue every year, tons, hundreds of customers a month that we interact with. That business, it is so typical during a team meeting for me to say, okay, somebody has to go to the SOPs and rewrite the process now. Now that we've got a second showroom coordinator, we're changing the process.
Yes.
Or on a team meeting, the same problem keeps coming up. And I'll be like, guys, I mean, I only come to 2 out of 4 team meetings a month, and this is a problem we've been talking about for 2 months. Like, when are we gonna change this process? Like, something has to be addressed. So it's not expecting perfection, but it's also understanding, be aware every day. What needs an improvement? A little tweak is so much better than just ignoring.
I also think noticing how can we make this simpler,
Yes.
right? So simplifying things without sacrificing the output at the end is something that you need to continue to look at. I think that's something I've noticed too is we tend to develop systems that are way too intricate so that they're not necessarily
Right,
repeatable.
right, right, right.
And that's where you run into the whole like, oh, this is a special
Yes.
case.
Well, and that's funny that you say that. That's funny that you say that because when I have my 5 chairman of the board coaching clients a year, I only take 5. They're one-on-one for the whole year separately, not together. And when they either have no systems or have some systems or whatever the situation is, I can't tell you how many times we have a conversation about, okay, we need to have a system around this thing, one slice in the business. And then we'll come back to the next coaching session. I'm like, how's it going with that system? I'm like, I don't know. I tried, I started. It's just so complicated because I have to say, if this, then that, and if that, then this. And I'm like, and years ago, with one particular coaching client, I noticed that the magic was saying, you're building a system for 80% of the time. The 20% of, oh, but what if when the contractor does that or the client does this or the vendor, we don't worry about that because that's 20% of the time and you will in real time manage and do that. Just build it for the 80% of the time that it goes like it does for 80% of all of your clients. And that's very freeing because when you go to create a system, if you try and plan for every contingency, it's like if you were somebody gonna make, say you're gonna make chicken cacciatore, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't have any mushrooms. Oh my God. No, how about you just make it without mushrooms? It's fine. Add more onions. It'll be fine. Add some peppers in there. Nobody will know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, just keep it rolling. Don't get bogged down.
I think it's interesting too. It's like structure paradoxically creates more freedom, not
Yes.
less. But
Yes.
if you make things complex, like it must have mushrooms, then you're just not going to get to make the chicken cacciatore,
That's right. Then you have all
right?
the other ingredients that would make a perfectly wonderful dish, but you don't eat it because you're stuck on that thing.
And I guess if we think about recipes, that's probably how all these new recipes develop because they've got freedom to add new ingredients or change things up, right? And if they did
Exactly.
it, then we wouldn't have these new recipes. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
know. Right. All right. Tell me your thoughts on delegation. I mean, this is like a whole topic in and of itself, but it does apply to systems. I
Oh,
mean,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. Have
Yeah.
you
I
found
mean,
any masterful words on delegation? I talk about this a lot
just
with my
do it.
clients.
Like Nike, just do it. Like
Yes.
literally almost every day. Like I say to a chairman of the board client, I say to somebody on my team, I say to the people that I coach at EW, who else can do this for you? Who else can do, like, who else can get this done? Like, I don't do anything if I don't first ask myself, who else can do this? And it's the thing about it is it's listen, I get up every day excited to go to work. I'm not like, who else can do this so I can stay home and watch TV? It's like, who else can do this so I can do something no one else can do in my world? And you will be surprised. It is like it's like our grandkids were doing a plank contest yesterday and stand there trying to like hold.
Did you
I,
win?
I didn't do it with them. It was just the kids.
Oh, I want to see you do it.
But the thing is, it's like the thing about it is it's that you want to get down and you want to think to yourself, yeah, I can do this thing, but if I get somebody else to do it, then I can do something else. And so just like a plank, you're going to do it 10 seconds one day, 25 seconds another day. One day you're going to get to a minute. It's not the first day. You're not going to hold a plank for a minute or for 4 minutes or for 5. And so if I say to you, start asking yourself who else can do it. If you genuinely ask yourself that today, you will forget it tomorrow and you will start doing crap that only you could do. You got to put it on your computer. You got to put it on your mirror. You got to train that muscle to say, who else can do it? Because the more you can get other people to do things for you, the more your business can grow and the more you can pour into your clients the magic that's only yours. And the other thing that I love about the byproduct of this is I can't tell you the number of times where I've said, okay, who else can do this? And I'm like, well, all right, this person isn't going to be able to do it as good as I am, but like high level, does it need to be done as good as me? All right, LuAnn, let that person do it. And then I'm like, oh my God, you did it better than me. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
never would have known that if I hadn't had the open mindedness to ask you to do something that I've never asked you to do before. And I have found, I mean, Mariali and Diana in my business, my God, it's just like the things that I have learned that they are way better at than me that I previously thought, oh, I have to be the one to do it. No, there's
No.
no.
No, and I think there's something to be able, if you want to talk about systems and delegation, you've got to train yourself as the delegator to share with them the vision,
Yes. Where are we
right?
going?
If you want to move to a higher level of delegation and not a toddler level where you're telling them to sit down, tie your shoe, put your shoe on, tie it, get up,
Right.
right? Then you've got to really share that vision. And I think that's sometimes where people get tripped up because they don't even know what they quote unquote
Mm,
want, they'll
yeah.
say, but that's, you know
Yes.
enough. You know enough,
Yes.
right?
I'll say, this is the outcome I'm looking for, or this is the result, or this is what I'm hoping to achieve, or blah, blah, blah. And I think it would happen this way. But I'm asking you to do it. Maybe you're going to get there a different way, but go see what you come up with. And then you don't let them run amok and do it 20 times and find out they've been doing it wrong 20 times. You do it once or twice and you check it, and then you tweak it together,
Yes, 100%. Yeah, because you can't, if you check in enough, but not too much, then they're going to keep perfecting
Yes.
that. And then I think in the end, it is a time
Yeah.
saver. Okay. So if we're talking about systems, delegation, and you're all about profitability, what are some tried and true systems that you swear by for profitability? What do you need to be looking at? I know we could spend 3 weeks on this, but like if you were to say to someone, these are the 2 things that you need to keep your eye on in order to remain profitable, what would you say to that one?
Well, look, there's an answer from an accounting standpoint, like you got to look at your P&L and you got to look at, right? But I think before that is,
Before that, let's
yeah,
go before that.
I think you do have to know your non-negotiable cost to be open number. What does it cost to run your business, right? So your tech stack, if you've got subscriptions to My Doma Studio, or you've got whatever your, ClickUp, ChatGPT, whatever your tech stack is, Vinny and I were just going through my final P&L, and he looked at me and he's like, "You have $14,000 in technology," and he's like, "How is that possible?" I'm like, "Oh no, sir."
I
That
have
yeah,
more. I
yeah.
just did
Did you?
mine.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
yeah, I literally just did
Yeah.
this
And
morning.
I said to him, I said, "No, sir, that I said, listen, every January, Mariali, my executive assistant, has to go through the entire tech stack. She has to
Yep.
verify, are we still using it? Do we still need it? Because like we'll find out, like we were paying for Hoppy Copy and none of us used it for 4 months. So at least once a year, she's got to look at everyone and blah blah blah." I said, "But without the January audit, I'm telling you that's a good number, right? But that's for the year, not for the month, right? But the point is, what is your cost to be open number? Do you have a studio? Do you have a car that you're paying for? Do you have insurances that you're paying for? Do you have like IDS subscription you're paying for? What's your cost to be open number? Because if you don't even know that it costs you $3,000 a month to be open, or 35,000, or like in the case like big businesses like Windows Works, $200,000, $300,000 a month, what are you getting up to do today? And what I like with a smaller business, businesses that are under a million, like if your cost to be open number is, say, a lot of businesses like 3,500, like if you're working out of your own home, it could be that or less, which is a legitimate thing to do, right? Now, when you haven't had like a sale or an inquiry, like my brain is like, I got to make 3,500 a month. That's what I got to do. After that, it's gravy. So, you know what? Let's just put the positive spin on. Let's get back into sales mode, because that is what I know as a salesperson. It is you are so much more effective if you're in positive sales space, not in I need money space. I'm here. I'm giving you a proposal for design fees. It's $25,000. Oh, it's too much money. You thought it was going to be less. I don't know what to tell you. Right. But the person who is needing to make money will negotiate with themselves. The person who's in sales mode is like, this is what I'm worth. This is a good, fair
Mhm.
price for this design fee. And that's how much it's going to be. But in the back of your mind, if you know you already cut your cost to be open number, you're more likely to stand firm. Whereas if you have no idea what it is, you're just like, I need a sale, I need a sale. And of course, designers say, I want a proposal. They don't realize always they're coming better to know, but they're salespeople. So you need to know your cost to be open number. And then the other thing for profitability is you do have to do the autopsy on every project. I mean, I've said this from the beginning. At the end of every project, you must go through and figure out your exact net dollar earned, period. Because I have worked with designers that, you know, they love kitchen renovations, and they also, I don't know, some maybe they don't like to do furnishing projects. They would rather do hardscapes and stuff like that. But when we do the analysis, we're like, you make on average 25% more profit every time you do a furniture project than when you do a kitchen reno. So how much do you love those kitchen renos again? Like, and okay, you love it. It feeds your soul. So why don't we do 3 a year? But let's make sure we get 5 furniture projects a year. And so that's the thing, because the accountant's going to look at the hard numbers, but I like us to look at what actually earns us money, at what level of profitability, compared with what's the kind of work I like to do. Because if you only stick to the type of work that's the most profitable, but you pull away from the work you enjoy the most, I'm sorry, that's a job. That's not an entrepreneurial journey. I'm paying, I'm showing up, I'm doing the thing for the man, I'm coming home at the end of the night pissy and crappy because I'm not doing what I love. You could do that for somebody else and not have all this on your head. So to me, if I can get you to a place where you're doing what you love and you're making money at it, but we can't do that if we don't know what projects, what kinds of money you make on what kinds of projects. You got to know.
Right. You got to know. So what do you, okay. So I talk a lot about belief, right? You know that. So what do you think you have to believe, or what's a belief system that supports you running a profitable business that you love? I mean, have you gotten into that at all? Because I think some people don't believe that it's necessarily possible. They think they have to work for the man, or they're a little delusional in what they
Yeah.
believe. I mean, where do you?
I just have to, simple feeling on it is you have to know in your core and you have to believe that it is your right to do it. That you are in
Yeah.
business, you have the risk on your head, you have a talent and a skill that even though there's 80,000 interior designers in the US alone, no one has the talent and skill that you have. It's not a better or worse evaluation. It's a unique talent and skill to each person. And when you believe and know that you have that, and then you match that with good business skills, it all works together. And it's when you don't. One of the things over the years that I've learned through various conversations with designers. And I think it's changing. Like it's 10 years that I've been having these conversations on the podcast. And I do think it's changing a lot now. But very much in the beginning, it was like a surprise to a designer that what they can put together in a room isn't easy for anybody else because they hang with designers. Their colleagues are designers. They go to designer events. They go to beautiful places like High Point where everything is magnificent. Their entire worlds aesthetically are gorgeous. And so there is this little tiny disconnect because they don't hang out with regular mortals like us that they forget that they have a thing that the rest of us don't have. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes, I
It's
totally
funny
know what you
because
mean.
it's like I've been recently watching Grey's Anatomy reruns. And like back in the day, the way they talked about like Derek Shepherd, and then as the later years went on, it's like, well, you're Meredith Grey. You've won a Harper Avery or a Catherine Fox Award. It's like those people, those professions, they get so much outward recognition that you are the man, you are the person. And I think designers, because design has been in their blood since they're little kids, moving their furniture around, going with their mom to the store to pick out the pretty crap, that it comes easy to them. So they forget how ridiculously talented they are. And if you can you, like Michael Jordan never forgets that he's Michael Jordan. Like the man,
Hmm.
when he was playing, he never walked onto a basketball court and thought, everybody here has, talent like me. Everybody, I don't know if I should charge that much because, we all could hit the basket, all throw the ball into the basket. But no, he
No.
was like, I am the dude.
Yeah.
I am amazing at this. And every single designer should walk around thinking that because I promise you, as good as, I've spent 40 years in the industry, as well as I could attempt to put a room together, it's like a tenth of what a designer could do. Like,
And just because, like, if we go back to Meredith Grey, just because she went through all those years of schooling and residency, like that, sometimes I think people think that's what equates to the worth.
right.
And when you're a designer, you might not have gone through 8 years of schooling, but that doesn't mean that you're any less worthy,
Right.
right, of whatever you're charging.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I don't care if you're so brand new at design and so entry level and so just working on your skill set that the only thing you're going to capable of doing right now is selling a paint consultation for $350. I'm going to come in, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to bring my paint deck, I'm going to pick all your paints. You understand the difference between that and what Corey Damon Jenkins is going to do for a client. So the designer thinks, oh, it's not a big deal. I'm picking paint colors.
Yeah.
But the client could also go into the box store, go get the paint deck and do it themselves. But there is a skill set involved. I don't care how entry level it is. And so when you have that belief that what I do is different, it's unique, it's valuable, it's worthwhile, it's wanted, then everything else, then you realize, oh, and because I have that amazing talent, technique, and it's valuable and worthwhile, I have to honor it by creating good financial systems. I have to honor it by creating good, client management systems. I have to honor it by creating good employee management systems, because that talent is the queen bee. That talent has to be out there. And all these other things have to happen so that talent can be out there. Because if I just bring the talent alone, no matter how much I believe in it, I'm not going to last long enough. To your point, it's not sustainable.
Right. Right. That's true. But you have to honor, I love that, how you put that. You have to honor that talent by
That's
having
right.
all of these other things in place. Otherwise, the talent
Yeah.
actually loses its
Wait.
vitality, first of all, and feasibility.
Yeah,
Right? It just can't
it's
happen.
wasted.
It's
It's
wasted.
wasted
It's
because you
wasted.
can't manage to keep the business going long enough to get to the point where you really are seeing the external validation of the world with the magazines and
Yeah.
the bigger projects and all of that stuff.
So true. So true. All right. This has been awesome. To wrap up, I want to ask you a couple rapid fire questions. You ready?
Oh,
All right.
tricky. Okay.
What's one thing you think every entrepreneur needs to practice every day?
I think resilience. I think that's number one thing, resilience. It's the last couple of business years have been up and down. Some businesses, at Exciting Windows, we oversee 82 businesses, and we are knee deep and privy to their P&Ls and their profit margins and everything. And it's crazy. There's so many that had their best year ever and others that had less than last year. So it's been difficult. And the thing for me is, with designers that I've talked to at live events where they've said to me, oh, it's hard, it's this and that. And I'm like, how many years are you in business? Oh, 5, oh, 7. I'm like, sweetie, you're just getting your teeth kicked in. Come on. Like, stand back up again. Like, it's not all easy every day. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Like, you want some war stories? Sit down. I'll tell you the times where I almost didn't get up again. But that's the thing. I think if you practice resilience every day, which means showing up when it feels scary, showing up when you feel like you screwed up something, showing up when you screwed up and you dropped the ball and the whole thing flew up in your face, and darn well it's because you didn't create a system, but you stand up every day, stand up again, and today create the system. So I think the resilience has got to be the number one characteristic you got to show up with every day.
I love that. All right. And if you were starting over in 2026, starting all over again, what would you do differently?
I don't know that I would do anything differently, Andrea. Oh, I mean, see, for me, when you ask me personally, right? Like, okay, so here's the thing. If it's not me personally, I've had situations where I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm thinking about hiring Andrea. What do you think? She's been on your show before, but I'm only in business 3 years. So I don't know if I'm ready yet." Or I've had people say to me, "Oh, one day I want to come to your Power Talk Friday, but I'm only in business 5 years, and so I don't think I'm ready yet." So if I didn't have the life I had, where I had a business coach next to me from day one, I would say, don't wait to hire somebody smarter than you that's been down the road ahead of you to walk beside you on that journey, whether it's a 6-week program, a 6-month program, a year program. Because why invent? Like, I say this all the time, Andrea. You have a little kid, 5, 8, 10 years old, and they're like, I like baseball. Like, do you just get them a baseball bat and a glove and say, okay, kid, let me see what you got? And then you show up 6 months later and go, I don't understand. You're not hitting the ball yet. No, you put them on a team. You get them group coaching. You send them to a clinic. You do all these things. But no, we put our life savings on the line. We open a business, and then we're like, when I'm really, really 5, 10, 15 years in, then I'll hire somebody to help me run the damn thing. It's like bonkers to me.
It's bonkers.
So
it is bonkers.
if I didn't personally hire a coach, that's the one thing I would change, except I did, so I can't say I would change it. Like, Vinny was the coach. He was the mentor.
Yeah. You had him with all the
Yeah.
experience, right? You got lucky.
Yeah, I
Or
did.
you're
Very
smart.
lucky.
How about that? Smart is a better way to think about it. I want to
pick 'em
say
good.
you were smart.
That's what it is.
Yes. All right. What are you most excited for in 2026?
Oh my God, it's the year of the fire horse, and I feel it through me like I can't even tell you. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so crazy. So it is so crazy. I'm like, I in my entire life, I've never been aware of what year of the animal it is.
I know. I
in
was
Chinese New Year.
impressed. I was like, wow.
No, I've never been aware of it.
If
I've
someone
never
said
known.
to me, do you think this is something LuAnn pays attention to? I would say, absolutely not.
Absolutely not, right? Exactly, right. Like, I've never, and I mean, maybe somebody, there was, oh, it's the year, then like, whatever, I don't read about it, I don't care about it. It's like people who have a word, right? Like, this is my word for the year. I respect it. I have many good friends that have it. It's not anything I've ever been called to do or have. I've never, ever, except probably when I was 12 years old, written a list of New Year's resolutions. It's like, I haven't run with any regularity since my hip was replaced 5.5 years ago. And in the second week in November, I went, this is ridiculous. It's been 5, you have run since you were 14 years old, 13 years old. You have not run in 5 years. This is it. And I put my sneaks on and I went out the door and went for a run. I'm not like, oh, well, on January 1st, I'll start running. On Monday, I'll start running. So I am not the person that does goal setting, like New Year's resolution, or taps into that stuff. But Andrea, I'm going to tell you what, something came across about on Instagram 2 or 3 weeks ago, that it was the year of the horse, and it said, and specifically the fire horse, and it's about momentum and its energy and its intensity. And I am all these things, just regular, by the way. But it's like, I said to Vinny, I said to my daughters, I just feel it in my gut. I feel it like it's a fire in my chest. And I'm just like, 2026 is the year, man. We are busting this crap out.
We are. I love this. I love this.
It's so crazy. And it's so funny. We just spent 2 weeks off practically, right, for the holiday.
Yes.
And at one point, I explained this to Vin one night over dinner, and I'm like, you got to, and he's like, he looks at me, goes, wait, so you're going to be even more intense than you usually are? And I'm like, but it's not me, it's the fire horse, it's in me. It's just there, right? So then it was like a couple of days later, and we were talking, and we were doing something, and all of a sudden I looked at him, and he says, look, well, do you feel like you want to do that? I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, it's a fire horse year. We're doing it. Let's go.
We're doing it. Well, I can't wait to see what comes of 2026 and the fire horse. This is so fun. I don't know. Maybe I should tell my husband that too. Because sometimes he's like, should we, shouldn't we? And my usual thing is just like, let's go. Like, what are we waiting for? But he sometimes pushes back. Now I'm just going to say, nope, we're fire horse here. We're doing it.
There's no options.
No options. No options. Where should people find you? We will have all of this in show notes, though.
Oh, easiest is LuAnnNigara.com. There you'll find LuAnn University. Pretty soon, the boardroomforcreatives.com site will be live. That's in Q1. But LuAnnNigara.com, you can find Chairman of the Board coaching. You can find the speaking engagements that I'm going to be at. You can find Power Talk Friday and LuAnn University, all the things.
Love it. I can't wait to get to see you next in real life. I don't know when that's going to be, but in real life. I love it.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Andrea.
All right. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation with LuAnn. Systems aren't about restriction. They're about freedom. And if 2026 is going to be different, if this is the year you finally stop hustling and start running light, it starts with one decision. What's one system you could simplify this week? Not overhaul, not perfect, just simplify. Because that's how big transformation actually happens. One small, simple choice at a time. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a moment to leave a review and follow the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, we are on YouTube, hit subscribe and leave me a comment letting me know what's the one area in your life or your business you want to start simplifying. Thanks for listening to this episode of She Thinks Big. I'm your host, Andrea Libros. If you're navigating big decisions, building something real, and you're ready to stop spinning and start leading with clarity, this is your reminder that you don't have to go it all alone. For real-time tools, straight talk, and insight to help you think big and run light, follow me on Instagram at andrea.libros.coaching. And if you're ready to make 2026 your year, the year your life and your business get bigger than they've ever been before, I'd love to hear from you. To book a call and learn more about working with me, head over to AndreaLibros.com. See you next week. And in the meantime, remember to think big.